As if you were on the live stream, I had to open a new live because, as sometimes happens, YouTube, I don't know, it wouldn't let me log into my laptop and do the live. So I'm doing it here. I hope you can find it. Obviously, the link was sent out and I'm on here on the channel. So if you're joining, Italian citizenship. Lots of people had claims to it by descent. And so, what are we going to discuss tonight? Who still has a claim and who can claim by descent? Just trying to set this phone up because I'm on my phone, couldn't be on my laptop as I usually am. So sorry, because for some reason it just YouTube freaked out. So, anyway. I hope that those of you who are waiting can find your way here. Please go up and like the video right now. I make these videos to help you guys, and just a like helps me enormously. My name's Amanda. If you're new here and you haven't watched any of my videos yet, I talk about living in Italy, citizenship in Italy, all the stuff you need to know about Italy, visas, permanent residence in Italy, all that sort of stuff. So we have this hot topic tonight, citizenship. And lots of people want one of these, an Italian passport. And I'm going to talk about how the law was and how the law is now going to be. And yeah, and then you can certainly pose any questions you have for me either down in the chat. But, you know, it's difficult for me to get too many discussions in the chat because then those watching obviously lose the thread. But yeah, if you've sent this to a friend, then if the original link, you will find me on here anyway. So, as the law was, you could apply by jus sanguinus, which literally means by blood, to acquire Italian citizenship by descent. What does that actually mean? I'm going to go into this. First, I'm going to cover how it was, and then if you hang around, I'm going to go to what it is now and what it's become. So thank you for everyone who's joining, everyone who sent a link to their friends or whatever. Remember, after we're not live anymore, this video gets published immediately, so you can send the link out to whoever needs it. I'm going to cover all your questions. So stick here, stick with us. Okay, so how it was in the past was, if you had an Italian ancestor, it could be a great-grandfather who immigrated to another country, okay, as long as the next person in line was born before the original Italian took out naturalization. So let's take an example. Let's talk about Giovanni. Giovanni leaves Italy. He goes to, during the terrible times in the 30s and 40s and 50s and 60s and 70s and 80s, all bad years in Italy. And he went to America. And when he got to America, he wanted to fit in, of course, and get a job and not be discriminated against, and wanted to be an American. He was happy in America. I'm using America as an example. It could be Argentina, it could be somewhere else. It could be South Africa too, it could be Australia. Some of you are watching from there, I'm sure. And so what happened was he would naturalize as an American. So this didn't present a problem if the next person in line, in other words, his son, was already born. So he was born when this man was still Italian, so the line wasn't cut. But if he then took out naturalization and then had a son, the line is cut. Okay, so under the old regime, you could have 3 generations back, could be your great grandfather. As long as that line hadn't been cut, you could claim Italian citizenship by your great grandfather. What has happened in essence is 3 things. So there have been 3 changes. I'm going to cover them 1, 2, 3. Number 1 is that you no longer can claim by a great grandparent. Hello, Giuseppe Nisto. Ciao. Hi. You can no longer claim via a great grandparent. It has been reduced to 2. Are you looking? Because people are going to keep asking me. 2 generations. That means if your grandfather was born in Italy and went to another country, if your father was born in Italy and went to another country and you are their offspring, that is how it works. As long as the line hasn't been cut. Okay, so if you have any questions and you're still questioning your situation, and people write to me all the time, I did a great video about this, about how many people in the world were eligible to acquire allegedly, theoretically, obviously they have to apply. Theoretically, there was 8 million people who could actually become Italian citizens. This is a big change to Italy's population, obviously. We're also going to talk about how Italians feel about this. I'm an Italian. I didn't get my passport by descent. I didn't get my citizenship by descent. How did I get it? I lived here. I became naturalized, paid tax. And after 20 years, I applied and had to go through all the process. You have to write an Italian exam. You have to have a clean criminal record. You have to have paid all your tax and crossed all your I's and dotted all your T's, and the other way around. Okay, so that's how I got Italian citizenship. I did not get it by descent, although I have assisted and helped many people who have got it by descent. And I know many people who are still banking on the fact that one day when they feel like it, if they get fed up enough with Trump or whoever their minister, prime minister is, wherever they're living, they will eventually get their descent. Well, Italy has changed that with this new law. So it's caused a huge ruckus. It's caused huge distress. And you can write your questions and your comments down there, or when the video is published, you can ask me your questions in the comments. I look forward to all your questions. So let me read to you the actual new law as it stands now, because I think that's going to be the best thing. I saved it on that phone, but I'm now streaming on this phone, so I'll have to get it again. I'm going to read you the new Italian law. So on the 28th, which was a couple of days ago, 1 second. On the 28th, this new law came about citizenship by descent, which is jus sanguinus, which literally means by blood. I'm just going to give you a call up what I put up so I can read you the exact law. Sanguinus. Sorry, I had it saved on that phone, but now I can't get into it. Okay, I'm going to read this in layman's terms. Okay, there's lots of legal terms and whatever, but basically, new applicants from this day forth will only be considered if their ancestor born in Italy is a parent or grandparent, as I already told you. Two generations, not 3. The new regulation is the Law Decree 36 of 2025. As I said, it came into being 2 days ago, March 29, sorry, not March 28. Okay. So what does it mean? What does it actually say? What are the 3 things? So Starting immediately, applicants will only be considered if their ancestor born in Italy is a parent or grandparent, great-grandparents or great-great-grandparents, which in the past were possible, will no longer be considered. Applicants who have at least a parent or grandparent born in Italy will still be able to apply for citizenship if all other requirements are met. They obviously, they say document checks will be enhanced to protect fraud. I don't know what fraud was happening. Anyway, this new law basically states three things. One is that you no longer can apply through distant descent. It has to be a grandparent or a parent who was born in Italy, and that you didn't cut the line by taking naturalization of a new country before the next person in line was born. Okay, so the bill also says three things. So the other thing it says is that now you will also have to prove, apart from proving that you have one of the two generations, either a grandparent or a parent born in Italy, you will now have to prove some links to Italy. What does that mean? That means that you regularly visited, that you have made some attempts to speak the language, that in fact you have some kind of connection with Italy, and obviously that you have, interest in the culture of Italy. All of this is in line with what's happening in the rest of Europe, because the rest of Europe has, most of them have this law that it's either a grandparent or a parent. But Italy always had this great and great grandparent, and of course, many people use this to get Italian citizenship by descent, causing a lot of distress in recent years when Italians finally discovered this was happening. Obviously, it's been happening for some time. They might not only be Americans, they might be Australians, they might be from Argentina, they could be anywhere, because during the bad years in Italy, after the Italian unification, which happened, at the beginning of the century, people went to South Africa, they went to Australia, they went everywhere. So let me cover the third part of this new law, which is that it will no longer, and this is very important, so pay attention. And if you've already gone to sleep, you have to wake up now. I'll have to clap my hands and wake you up, because the new law has a big change in that no longer will you be able to apply in your consulate in the country in which you're resident. So if you're resident in America, in Australia, and I don't know, wherever, Argentina, Chile, how many countries can I name? Many. You no longer will be able to apply in that country, your country of residence. It will now all be handled in Rome. So all of these applications for your sanguinus will now be applied for in Rome, will be overseen in Rome, and will be decided in Rome. Meaning that apparently one of the reasons this new law was brought into effect was they want to check documents more carefully to make sure errors weren't being made, I don't know, or perhaps some fraud. So the whole thing has been brought back to Italy. They will decide, like France does, most European countries do this. But Italy had this thing where you could apply overseas for your dual citizenship by descent, either in America, Australia, South Africa, wherever you were living. So those are the three new things. So number one, it's no longer multi-generational. It is two generations, either your grandparent, your grandfather, or your father was born in Italy, and if they moved to another country to go and live, you were born before the transfer of the new citizenship, the new naturalization. So when the line gets cut, it gets cut. So these can't go on indefinitely. The other new thing is that you will have to prove a connection to Italy. What does that mean? There's a very long legal thing, I'll try and see if I can find it, that actually tables what it means to have ties with Italy. Can you speak the language? Certainly, I had to write a test in order to get Italian citizenship by naturalization, as I mentioned. I didn't get mine by descent. I got mine by paying tax and living here. You will have to prove, number one, that you have some tie with Italy, that you're in touch with Italy, that you visit Italy, that you have visited Italy, that you're interested in the culture. I don't know exactly the questions they're going to ask you, but that is something that they have put down in the law will happen. The third thing, and the crucial thing, is you will no longer be able to apply for this in your country of residence. You will have to come and apply in Italy, or you will have to get the documents to the consulate in Rome. There's a long list of documents that you need. I'm not covering it in this because I've covered it in other videos. I'm going to put the video up there. I made a video some time ago about how many people were eligible in terms of the old law before it was changed a couple of days ago. How many people were actually eligible to get Italian citizenship by descent? So I'll put that video up there, and if you want to go back, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. You want to leave me a comment later on. I don't see anybody listing their city. Sorry, I did change platforms. I went from my phone to my laptop, and the live stream wouldn't work. So if you could go down in the chat right now and tell me which city you're joining from, that'll help. Thank you for your likes. Please go up and like the video. It's the only way that YouTube will suggest this video to other people. Okay, so what does this mean for so many people? I mean, there's going to be a lot of very disappointed people. People who were leaving the States because they don't like the new regime. People who were banking on coming to Italy because they would like to buy a home here, but not only buy a home, because buying a home in Italy doesn't give you residence rights, but they wanted to come and live here, make a new future here, promised their grandchildren that they would grow up in Italy, all of that sort of thing. So there's going to be a lot of very disappointed people, and there's going to be a lot of angry people. I have to tell you, in all my years of living in Italy, traveling the world, and running this channel, and talking to people about residence, citizenship, getting jobs, moving, relocations, all these subjects, nothing makes people more angry and more emotive, and I'm on the other end of that, than their rights being changed. So their rights to citizenship, their rights to a visa. Just recently, the elective visa for Italy, which many people are coming on the passive income, meaning it's a retirement video, but you can choose when you retire. It's based on passive income that you can guarantee for this elective visa, the ERV visa. That changed recently, and that many of the consulates in America have now asked for about 66,000 annually for a couple instead of what it was before, 38. So that's caused a huge amount of anger and screaming. It doesn't help for you to shout at me. And look, I don't mind if you want to send me lots of comments. Please send me a comment, because it helps YouTube to suggest this video for other people, helps me to be found. So please, I always welcome your comments. Please go up and like the video. If you haven't subscribed yet, my name's Amanda, and thank you for joining us. So how many people does this affect? How many people were really banking on getting this magic passport, which, by the way, is a pretty good passport. You can go just about anywhere in the world on it. It's a European passport. So another thing that people don't realize is if you have a European passport, in my case, Italian, you can go and live and apply for residence anywhere in Europe. You don't have to live in Italy. If you wanted to go to France, you would literally have to register for residence and then eventually get on the health system there. So having your European passport has always had a huge value and a huge cachet to it. And this is why people, even within families, don't want to talk about it. There are lots of families who don't want to tell their cousins or their brothers and sisters. It's very jealously guarded. So they don't want to discuss this openly. And me talking about it on my YouTube channel, which I have to, because, there are lots of people who join my channel to find out out how they can apply for dual citizenship are now going to be bitterly disappointed, and people, as I've already mentioned, get incredibly angry. So maybe my video that I posted some time ago about how many Americans and how many people around the world are actually eligible didn't get so many views because it wasn't bad news. This is bad news, and bad news gets much more views. And sensational news, it's not what I do on my channel, but I've started to realize, watching friends of mine, YouTubers that we've been friends for, I don't know, 15 years, that they do like sensational videos and bad news, sensational stuff, and they get a lot of views from their thumbnail from saying, oh, you know, some clickbait thing. I decided I would never do that, but this is bad news for many people, and I hope that, you know, that those who still have some rights don't get put off, that they can go ahead and apply. If you have any doubt whether you still are eligible, I will put in the description box, as I always do, my email. You can drop me an email and you can give me your nuts and bolts details. I don't need your whole long sob story. I don't have time to look at everybody's. And I'm not a legal immigration lawyer, but I've helped lots of people. I know exactly what is required. So if you want to email me, I can certainly contact you and at least do a first connect with you on the phone to find out whether you're wasting your time to go to an immigration lawyer and fight for your rights, or to find out whether you need to collect all the documents. I can certainly do that, and you're welcome to write to me. I make no promises in anticipation. Okay, so when is this law effective? It's effective right now as we speak. It was, in fact, effective yesterday, and lots of people have already covered it on YouTube, so you probably already watched a video, I don't know. Hopefully, you'll send mine around to your friends and family who are concerned, but please be aware, do not follow what is said on Facebook. I cannot tell you how many people have got the wrong inaccurate information on Facebook by going there in a group, even if the group is about dual citizenship. And what is one person's experience is not another person's record. Each person is evaluated for a citizenship or a passport based on their facts, not on somebody else's facts, not on your distant cousin's facts. So even if your distant cousin tells you that's rubbish, I did this and I did that and I did that, it's about you, your documents, what you can prove, what you have, what you can justify. It's completely crazy to go on Facebook, and yet people do this every day, and trust people with something so important. I do understand that most people do not want to consult an immigration lawyer, or just a lawyer in general about who deals with citizenship, because they feel it's so expensive and maybe they don't need it. But you can, this is all published in English on the Italian website. So what I will do in my description box, and please go down and comment about this. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me have your questions. If you want to post the comment anonymously, then make an anonymous email and post the comment, and I will answer you. You need to realize that the only person who can tell you no or yes is the Italian state. And if you think that you have a chance and you want to write me an email, that's fine. But all of this information, the information about the elective visa and all kinds of other information you need about residence in Italy, citizenship in Italy, all of it, it's all published in English now. These are not the old days where you couldn't find out this information. And lots of people got scammed by somebody coming along who really didn't know what they were doing and making them pay in advance to give them this information. So it's all available, this information, online. Okay, so I'm going to repeat again for those who've just come into the room. There are 3 new parts to this law that was enacted on the 29th of the jus sanguinus law, which literally means by blood, descent of Italian citizenship by blood, because there's also jus soli, which means you're born here. There's jus sanguinus, which means by descent. Okay, so the three things are, number one, you have two levels. You see the two? Is this two? You have two levels. No longer distant great-great-grandparents, two levels. Either your grandfather or your father was born in Italy, okay? So it's not the old law where you can have a distant, maybe your cousins were lucky, they got it from distant great, or whatever. It's no longer, it's two levels, two generations. Number two, that you will have to prove to the Italian government that you have a connection to Italy. They have been working on it for a long time. Certainly now, to get an Italian passport, as I've already mentioned, you need to pass an Italian language exam at a certain level. My passport I acquired via naturalization after living here for 20 years, paying tax and applying for citizenship. I didn't marry my Italian passport, and I didn't get mine by descent. Mine came from naturalization, which is a way that you can still obtain an Italian passport if you are a permanent resident for over 10 years, that you pay your tax and you do all the other things that they require of you. Okay, so there is still some way. The third part, and this is crucially important, and that's why I'm repeating it again, is that these applications will no longer be processed and will no longer be received in your country of residence. You cannot any longer apply in America, get all your documents, and then go and apply at the consulate in America or Australia, South Africa, and Chile, and Argentina, whichever country you live in. No longer. You need to apply to Rome. It's all been pulled back to Rome. The Italian state will manage it. The Italian state is concerned about fraud and perhaps some documents in the past that were, who knows what went on. But it's all been pulled back to Rome, and it will all be managed in Rome by the Italian state. So I hope I've been very clear. If you have any other questions, and I'm sure there's going to be a million, put them down, please. Go back when this chat stops, when my live stops, go back, please, and leave me a comment on the video. It will be published immediately. If you want to share it with your friends or family, please do. I need to be useful to people, and the only way that YouTube will recognize this video is if it gets likes and it gets shares and it gets comments. So please do that. If you haven't subscribed yet, my name's Amanda. I live here in Italy. I cover citizenship, visas, working in Italy, living in Italy, citizenship in Italy, all that good stuff. Okay, so for the purposes of this live tonight, I hope I've been very clear. As I already mentioned, I'm going to put up there, if you go and see when this video is published, I will link the other video I did about how many people around the world have some claim to Italian citizenship. So there we are. So for tonight, thank you for everybody who joined. Sorry about the delay and that I couldn't get in on my normal stream because YouTube was playing up. I don't know. So I hope many of you found your way to me. But please be aware that this is a fact and it will be published, and there's not much we can do about it. It's a pity for those that will no longer be able to apply because they're no longer eligible and that they've already done all their documents and spent money or whatever. Lots of people are desperate to get out of America. Hello, Mark. Saluti di Trentino. So Mark lives in Trentino. If my grandmother did not naturalize until after my dad were born, am I eligible by blood? I don't answer questions directly like this. I need to know more details than that. Mark, you have my email. Send me an email and I'll certainly answer your question to the best of my ability. I will need some details from you, but I'm not going to make any promises, and there are many people in this situation. By the way, Mark is living in Trentino on an elective visa, and so hopefully one day we will interview Mark about how much he's enjoying living in Italy. So thank you for all of you who've joined, and thank you all of you who regularly comment, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to go up and like the video. You can like it right now. Do you agree with the change? I don't actually see what my opinion has anything to do with. I mean, what does it matter if I agree with the change or not? The fact is that Italy, the state of Italy, has come into line with many other European countries who've always had two levels of descent, grandparent and parent. So what my opinion is, I don't know. Do I agree with it? No. Do I agree that, we should all go to work from 9 to 5? No, but I can't do anything about it. So yes, I think it's going to be very unpopular. I think it's going to make a lot of people very, very angry. As I've already mentioned, I sometimes get stuff thrown at me because nothing makes people more angry than having their rights taken away. We know that. I know that because it happens on the channel every day. I just mentioned that they changed the elective visa from a certain amount of money, and now the embassies in the States are demanding for a couple a bigger amount of annual income that you have to have, 66 apparently. And it hasn't yet been published by the Italian state, but I foresee that it will be. Also, that lots of these things, like making sure that you have a certain level of Italian, that you have links to Italy, are all going to be enacted. We were expecting them. I was expecting them because that's how it is in all the other European countries. So Italy had this loophole for many people who really have no connection to Italy, but they had a great-grandparent or great-great-grandparent, and they managed to get it. But anyway, the law has changed. Kathy, can you provide the link to where I can find this new law? I'm going to put it down, as I mentioned, I'm going to link it down in the description box. So go to the description box and the link will be there, my email will be there, and you can find out everything you need to know, okay? So I hope this has been useful. I hope you can send this to whoever needs it or is questioning it, and you can share it on Facebook, and you can share it wherever you like. The more people who see it, the more people are not going to be disappointed. Thank you. Italy wants people there, so why stop anyone that can come and pay taxes? I don't see what citizenship has got to do with Italy wants people there. They can apply for an elective visa. You don't have to have an Italian passport or Italian citizenship to apply for an elective visa. I think that's number E. I don't know who E is. Italy wants people there, so why stop anyone that can come and pay taxes? Well, Italy cannot afford to take in a lot of retired people who have health needs, major health needs maybe, and to grow their population by 1 million, which could easily happen. I mean, America is 350 million. So if 1 million, and there are lots of people who have connections to Italy, if 1 million new people come and they all start using the health system here, even though they pay for 1 year's health insurance, Major Medical could cover a heart transplant or continual health needs. So yeah, please, it's not my decision. I didn't decide this. I'm just another person, an Italian living here in Italy, who covers this on my channel. But thank you for your comments, because I'm sure many other people will be wanting to ask exactly what you're asking. So thank you very much for your comments and messages. And as I mentioned, everything will be in the description box. I'm going to go and put it up there as soon as this live stream ends. You'll be able to find the video because it'll be on my channel, the first live video, the last live video, the most recent. And in the description box is always all the links to the actual law, to my email, if you want to email me, and everything else you need to know. So please don't forget to like the video. If you've watched, please, you can like it right now. That'll help me a lot. Great. So I'm going to say goodbye from here in Italy. Spring has come. And today was absolutely gorgeous. I was down, there was an antiques market and a wine fair on the lake here, Lake Maggiore. It was absolutely beautiful. And yeah, I'm looking forward to a beautiful summer. The tourists are already streaming in. Italy also has over tourism, which many European countries have had. I don't know what they're going to do about it because everyone wants to come visit Italy. But anyway, that's the citizenship law, people. That's what I've covered. So remember the 3 points. You can go back and watch this if you came in halfway. Bye for now. See you on the next one. Bye. Bye, 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 bye.